Hello everybody and welcome back to our brand new episode of NASCAR Heat for Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we go to Richmond in the Cup Series. Actually had an issue with getting the Xfinity footage to actually come through, so I'm going to try and get that Richmond Xfinity race in another episode in the future just so you guys can see it. But so obviously in this one we don't have it, but we hit P18 in qualifying for Richmond, a track where we usually struggle at. So we're going to see what we can do here today at the short track here in Richmond.
Short track racing at its finest. We're at Richmond Raceway for the Toyota Owners 400. Tonight we make our first of two stops at America's premier short track. The green flag is about to fly. It's time to go racing.
All right, thank you, Rick Allen. We're ready to go green here for the Toyota Owners 400 in Richmond Raceway in Virginia, as we got Matt Tifft looking a little bit slow today. Martin Truex Jr. had an unapproved body modification during qualifying. Joey Logano on the pole as we get ready to go green. I think it was actually Truex who qualified on the pole, but Logano got moved up into that pole position after Truex obviously being sent to the back as we're ready to go green here. Gaining one spot as we're ready to go from P17. The green flag is out, and we are underway here at Richmond International Raceway behind our Stuart Haas Racing teammate of Clint Boyer in the number 14 car, Paul Menard on our outside, and behind us we got Corey LaJoie, the 32, who actually is in the playoffs right now. He's the last car in, and he's done a fairly decent job of holding on to that last position, at least fighting for that final position in the playoffs right now, as we're behind our rival of Kyle Larson, getting into his left rear just a little bit there as we came out of turn 4 as we come through to complete this first and opening lap here at Richmond. As Larson, he decides to go way up the track, so obviously I go up the bottom, and we're up to P15 as we exit turn 2, heading down this back straightaway. Obviously, like I said, Richmond, we usually run kind of mediocre at, kind of struggle at a little bit here, so I wasn't quite sure what to expect so far at this point as we came through, passing Eric Jones. We had passed Danny Hamlin and actually got to the back of our teammate Kevin Harvick a little bit now, as we had actually worked our way up to P11, putting pressure on Harvick for P10 here on lap 12, so it's taking us a little bit, but now there's actually a spin behind. It's Austin Dillon who goes spinning through turns 1 and on the exit of turn 2, and it looks like the 96 of Parker Kligerman gets a piece of it as well, so the caution would come out here in stage 1, and nobody would be pitting, so we would stay out and get ready to go green here from P11 behind our two Stuart Haas Racing teammates of Eric Almirola and Kevin Harvick. Obviously, Almirola has had a little bit of a struggle this season, but he's trying to very well point his way into the playoffs now as the green flag, though, is back out, and we are underway here with just 9 laps to go in this first and opening stage. Behind us, we got Eric Jones and Denny Hamlin side by side. A lot of 3-wide racing here on this restart as we exit turn 2, 3-wide with Ryan Blaney and Alex Bowman in the number 12 in the 88 cars. We go down into turns 3, Bowman all the way up towards that top lane, and so is Kevin Harvick, our teammate, who's drifting backwards side by side with our other teammate of Clint Boyer, but we get past Blaney and go up the inside of Alex Bowman now as we go down into turns 1 with 8 laps to go here in this first stage. And Eric Jones, he was trying to put some pressure on me but couldn't quite make it happen, so we would continue through to pass Kurt Busch here, and now also get our way up to P5 as we passed our teammate of Eric Almirola as well, as we came now through onto the final lap in the stage, going up the inside of William Byron and Keselowski as we exit turn 2, a little bit sideways on the exit of the corner down the back straightaway as we go down into turns 3. Matt Benedetto, though, leading the way as we come through turns 3 and out of turns 4, side by side with William Byron. As we come to the line, the caution actually comes out briefly after we got past William Byron. So obviously the stage ends like a few seconds early, basically. So we get P4 in the stage. Matt Benedetto wins the first stage. I'm sure Nathan, one of our subscribers in the community, will be very happy with that one. So we would make pit stops and actually lose one position to William Byron on pit road. So down to P5 we go as Joey Logano will be starting P1 as he overtook Matt Benedetto in the pit lane now as the green flag is out and stage 2 is underway. A very good first stage for us. We got up inside the top 5 as, like I said, we usually struggle here. I didn't change anything from the last time we were here. Now is Keselowski. He takes it 3-wide into turns 1 and he goes from 3rd to 1st in the first few corners in the second stage now as he leads the way into turns 3 to Benedetto and Logano side by side as we're up the inside of the 24 car of William Byron now side by side, as well as we exit turn 4 across the line, completing the first lap of the second stage. Kyle Busch behind us trying to put on a little bit of pressure as Alex Bowman is trying to get into the battle as well. Alex Bowman this season in our career mode has had a very solid season so far, and so has William Byron. He's been running much better in our career mode this season, as we got briefly into Logano a little bit there on lap 3 as we went down into turn 3. Actually, William Byron gets into my left rear a little bit and pushes me up the track as we came through turns 3 and turn 4, so we lost that spot to William as he was showing a lot of speed. That was just kind of one of those moments there, so I wasn't really annoyed with William or anything. It was just a racing deal. Now as we came through turns 1 and out of turns 2 side by side with Logano's, we're very sideways, nearly head on into the inside wall. We hang on to it. Now Almirola, he would try to get into the battle with me, but we would get stay ahead of him, and then once again set our sights on Alex Bowman. Has actually gotten to turns 1 a little aggressive, gotten to the back bumper of him, and he's sliding on the exit of the corner. He hangs on to it with no problem, and we take P4 back over. It wasn't really intentional to hit him in the bumper, but it certainly helped us out, I guess. But Benedetto was third, Byron was second, and Keselowski still led the way at this point, as it was looking like William Byron had quite a bit of speed as we came through now in lap 13. Matt Benedetto running P3 as an engine issue as we come through the center of the corner, and he is probably going to retire from the race. He stays on the track, but no caution would come out. We would stay green and continue to run P3 for basically the rest of this stage, as we had no one really around us. Byron and Keselowski way out ahead of us, and then the cars behind us, fourth place, quite a ways behind. So I was on an island of my own at this point as we came through, approaching the final lap of this second stage here in Richmond as we came out of turn 4. So there you see Keselowski, the leader, almost 5 seconds ahead. William Byron in second, almost 3 seconds ahead. So certainly Keselowski has a very fast car at this point. I was thinking about maybe making an adjustment, because there you see on the exit of turn 2 how sideways I was getting. So that was the biggest thing, of maybe making a wedge adjustment, just barely put it up a little bit here as we come through out of turns 4 though to get P3 in stage 2 as we're sliding across the line. But a very solid finish once again, but just don't quite have the speed right now to win, or at least battle for the win. The car was definitely a little bit loose on the exit of the corner, like I said, but I decided actually we were going to put the wedge down a little bit, just because I felt like maybe it would actually be better on more of a short run, because I was anticipating some shorter runs in this third and final stage, because obviously it just didn't seem like we had that short run speed that we needed. The long run, we were half decent, so I felt like if we just put the wedge down a little bit, I could probably deal with it, instead of go with the tighter and better handling car. I decided to go with a little bit looser and hopefully a little bit faster car. Now as the third stage is underway here, 48 laps remain as Keselowski and Eric Jones lead the way down into turns 1 and 2. William Byron lost a few positions and he dropped down to P4 for the start of the stage as we're side by side with the Joe Gibbs Racing driver. Obviously we drove that 20 car back in NASCAR Heat 3 career mode, when that's, I think, the only championship we got. No, we won 2 championships in NASCAR Heat 3, but that was our first championship car, and then obviously we won it in the 48 car with Jimmy Johnson. Now it came through turns 1 and out of turns 2. Keselowski, you can see already putting a decent gap together. Obviously myself and Jones got battling side by side, and that was a huge advantage to Keselowski, who actually moves up to the top through turns 3 and turns 4, and that allows me to get right into within about a car length and a half of him as we hit 46 laps to go, heading down into the corner. And once again he chooses a high line, so I go up towards the middle, and now out of turns 2 we're side by side for the lead. We get sideways and make a little bit of contact with Keselowski as he goes down into turn 3, and he's going to slide through the center of the corner. Now Hamlin's going to get into the side of us, and he's going to go sideways as well as we come into turn 4. Keselowski hangs on to it, but we pretty much just potentially ruined his race by accident there, as I just got loose out of turn 2, overcorrected right into the left rear quarter panel of Keselowski. I felt really bad for that, but we just had to focus on our own race. But sure enough, we come out of turns 4 on lap 58 now, hitting the wall, and then that would allow Kurt Busch to continue to put some pressure on me as I come out of turn 2, and once again make a mistake, and that allows Kurt Busch to get to my inside as we went down into turn 3. So the lead was short-lived here as Kurt Busch takes P1, but we would hold off Eric Jones for that second position and continue to be able to fight with Kurt Busch. Now on lap 64, a little bit of looseness again on the exit of the corner, and then the caution actually would come out here with 37 laps to go. Keselowski had been running P9 at this point. I decided 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires, and I actually went back on the wedge adjustment because I felt like it was a little bit too loose, so I decided we're going to tighten it up just a little bit, basically to what it was earlier in the second stage. So once again, getting ready to go green side by side with Kurt Busch for the lead as the green flag is back out. A little bit over 30 laps remain here in Richmond. Hamlin and Almirola on that second row, ready to pounce if something happens now, as we actually clear Kurt Busch through the center of the corner, but we go so wide that he battles back on the exit of the corner and clears us down the back straight away into turn 3. And now Hamlin nearly gets into the back of me as we went down into the corner, so he goes with that top lane. And now Eric Jones once again back up to P3. Jones having a very solid race here, at least in this third and final stage. So now we close into the back of Kurt Busch. We just seem to have a really good entry into turn 1 tonight, which we've never really had at this track before. I don't know what was different, but certainly it was working, because on lap 70 we get up the inside of Kurt Busch, and sure enough, we're side by side for the lead as we go down this back straightaway trying to take over P1. And now Kurt Busch, I think, still looking for win number 1 on the season. Obviously last time out in our career mode we won at Bristol. Now is Keselowski. He's gotten back into the picture in P3 as he tries to take second from Kurt Busch, and sure enough he would, and he would close into the back of me now on lap 71. And I remembered what happened earlier in this race when I pretty much took out the 2 car by accident, and so I decided, you know what, you can just have it easy here. I decided to leave the bottom lane open for Brad Keselowski, and he would drive right on by. But sure enough, actually, we would be able to stick with Keselowski to my surprise here. We came to lap 79 through turn 3. Now actually we got a spinner into turns 1. It's the 37 of Chris Buescher, who's hard on the outside wall of McMurray. He gets collected, and now that's going to bring out a caution here late in Richmond. 22 laps to go at this point. So now we're going to be side by side as the green flag is back out. Kurt Busch and Logano on the row behind us. 18 laps to go here at Richmond International Raceway. Can Keselowski hang on to the victories? Kurt Busch is going to get very aggressive and go 3 wide of the inside for the lead here as we exit turn 2, heading down the back straightaway. We've certainly had some 3 wide moments on these restarts tonight. Some wild restarts here at Richmond International Raceway. Drivers certainly not afraid to be aggressive as we're still 3 wide with Keselowski as Kyle Busch goes through to take the lead from his brother of Kurt. As we go down into turns 1, getting into the wall for a brief moment, there's Logano. He is starting to put the pressure behind as we go way wide into the corner, and Elliott and Logano are now 3 wide with us as we come through to clear Logano and Elliott. And now we send it up the inside here, almost of Keselowski. As Keselowski, though, he would work his way back forward. We would get up the inside of Blaney, but Keselowski had climbed back up to P2 and tried to chase down now of Kyle Busch. We know we now have the speed to maybe contend for this win now as we go down into turn 3, though, and Truex behind us has issues as he blows a tire into turns 3, and that's going to bring out a caution again. It looked like he actually got Denny Hamlin a little bit collected in that one, as there was no need to pit, so we would get ready to go green from the 4th position now as there's less than 10 laps to go. As the green flag is back in the air. Kyle Busch and Keselowski on the front row. Kurt Busch, he's on my inside. He was very aggressive on the last restart, making it 3 wide. And as we go down into turns 1, Kurt's going to do it again. He goes 3 wide for the lead, and he goes from 3rd to 1st. And then Blaney goes through as well, 3 wide, and he climbs up to P2 as Kyle Busch has had a terrible restart as we come through the center of the corner right behind that 12. If we can get ahead of the 2 of Keselowski, who knows what we can make happen here now as we cross the line. 8 laps to go at Richmond International Raceway. Everybody in front of us goes to the top as we kind of chop the nose on our teammate of Almirola. We clear Keselowski and ahead of Blaney, but we're sideways side by side again with the 12. Ryan Blaney is once again Kurt Busch and Blaney. They are up on the top as we come through turns 3 and turns 4. Keselowski being held up by his Penske teammate as we edge out Kurt Busch at the line. 7 to go, and all of a sudden we find ourselves taking the lead here late at Richmond into turns 1, and all of a sudden it was our race to win as we came out of turn 2, and sure enough we would continue to lead the way. The fastest car is kind of being held up. Kyle Busch, he had gotten through to P2 and he was starting to close the gap a little bit. Keselowski had gotten behind him and had started to close as well, and sure enough, though, we come to just 2 laps to go, approaching the final lap. Kyle Busch and Keselowski had continued to close on me, but they don't have enough time if we don't make a big mistake. The white flag is in the air here in Richmond. We got our first win of the season last episode at Bristol Motor Speedway, and obviously we've never won at Richmond in any NASCAR heat game. I don't think I've ever won here. Now as we go down into turns 3 and turns 4 for the final time here at Richmond, we exit the corner. We're going to go back to back with a win in Bristol, and now Richmond.
Black and white, in the air, the checker flag. Good job.
A great race for us. A lot of intense or wild restarts. Some drivers being incredibly aggressive on those restarts. Kurt Busch especially. And thankfully we were able to get a win out of this. I certainly didn't expect to win at Richmond. I think that's our first win with the Eris paint scheme. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it is. So awesome to finally win at this track. Like I said, since NASCAR Heat Evolution, I don't think I've actually ever won at this racetrack. So it certainly caught me off guard because, like I said, I didn't change a single thing with the adjustments in the car from the last time we were at Richmond to this one, so it certainly caught me off guard that we just out of nowhere had win contending speed here today at Richmond International Raceway as we continue to burn it down as long as we can until at least the engine starts smoking. But brilliant for us, obviously win number 2 on the season, and once again we get 5 more playoff points. We still haven't actually won a stage, so definitely going to have to get figuring that out. That would certainly be nice to win one of those and get the playoff points built up, because we know after last season we need as many playoff points as possible. But obviously we can just go to Talladega in the next one and see what we can do there. But there you see the finishing order on your screen. Ryan Truex with the top 15, so a very strong result for a car that usually runs in the 30s. And then we got Matt Benedetto, who DNF'd. He won stage 1. He was running up front most of the race. Kyle Larson finished in the back as well. So unfortunate for De Benedetto, as we got now 10 playoff points, and we're second in the playoff standings. After the race, I said sorry to Brad for what happened earlier in the race when we nearly took him out. That was definitely a 2003 Ford F550 4x4 Alltech AT37G 42-foot articulated bucket truck moment. If you get that meme, you know what I'm talking about. We had good speed too. Looking forward to Dega. So like I said, certainly didn't expect to win, but we pulled it off. And as always, if you guys did enjoy this episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very, very appreciated. Alex Bowman hasn't been very happy with us today after this race at Richmond. I don't even remember touching him, or actually, no, we did give him that bump and run in turns or in stage 2 or something like that. So I guess I do remember now. But in the next one, though, it is Talladega, so hopefully we can have a strong run there. But like I said, there you see the point standings on your screen once again. Kyle Larson now on the outside looking in. We still have Corey LaJoie as the last car in. So like I said, he's doing a decent job of trying to at least fight it out, as we have William Byron, who's having a much stronger season, and so is Alex Bowman than they did last time around. So we'll see if they can both make the playoffs. Bowman made it last season with a win, so we'll see what can happen. So obviously, guys, though, in the next one for Talladega, thank you for everybody for watching, and have yourselves a great day.